topic. I mean, how do you guys feel about the use of the N-word? See, I have some strong feelings,
It's about
but I want to hear.
conversation too.
Uh,
Uh, we'll go. Well, yeah, and okay,
in the black
huh?
in the black community.
See, my experience is different. Um, I remember being 6 years old. Most of my family is rooted from the South, so like, and I've been lucky enough to meet
Okay.
great grandparents. So my great grandmother was basically, the help, for white people in the South. Like she worked for a white family, you know, um, picking cotton, like stereotypical, like like that's what people think. So she is that person. Um, I will never forget my great grandfather. He was sitting in his chair, and my cousin, who is 10 years older than me, so he's 40 ish. Um, he comes in and he's with his friends and he's like, "Yo, what up, nigga? What up? What up? What's going on?" And my grandfather was like, "No, no, no. We do not use that word in this house because that is the last word that some of my friends heard before they were hanged."
Hmm.
And
Wow.
that has stayed with me since. Actually, I think I might have been like 4. He was like, "We don't use that word in this house ever, 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 ever." Now I have argued with people in middle school. Actually, I won't say his name, but I direct middle school shows, and they were just like nonchalantly, like throwing it around, and I'm like, "Why are you using that word?" And they're like, "We're taking the power from it." So there are black people that think that we're taking the power away from the word. So I mean, I don't know. It's something that I've been
Yeah.
trained not to use and use and not to, glorify because, I don't want to be a part of it. And I feel like that's part of the problem. There was The Bachelorette. I don't know if I love The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, but she recently
I
was
watched The Bachelor at
on,
one season.
yeah.
Oh, the black girl who's on the okay.
No, it's the most recent Bachelorette. She was on her IG live and she's like singing a rap song and she's like da, 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 da. And people are like, "You just said the N word. Like, what are you doing?" And so, like, like we can't complain. To me, we can't complain as black people to these white people that are singing our songs if we continuously put them into the songs. Like it is like I don't know. I don't know. My like you think about these rappers like
Yeah.
Jay-Z and Kanye and these people that have so much influence and they're continuously using them, then we're
Yeah.
glorifying it and giving people permission to say it.
Mhm.
To me, that's just my opinion.
I
I've gotten into
I I think that
a lot.
a,
Black
I think a lot of black people feel conflicted about how they feel, or either you feel conflicted or you feel very, very strongly on one side of the fence or the other. But actually, before I say how I feel about it, I think it's interesting that you brought up the music thing because I love Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is my favorite musician
oh,
on this
yes.
planet. Incredible artist, and this was like a year or two ago. I remember he had a controversy because he has this one song called Mad City. It's like a very fast, upbeat like song, and he says the N word in it because he's Kendrick. He could do that. He's black. But during his concert, he calls on people. Sometimes he called on a white girl and he was like, "You know the words." Before the beat drops, she was like, "Yeah, I'm good. Like I've been listening to your stuff for like years." Like she's like, "I'm on it." And she got up there and she's rapping and she's like just trying to like vibe with Kendrick and stuff, and they're having a good time. And then she said the N word by accident, and like her whole face, her whole body turned entirely red. She's like, in the middle of this concert, like the biggest moment of her life, and she's like, "Oh my God, I just like said the N-word." And Kendrick was just like, "Should I kick her off?" Like he was like, "Should I kick her off?" Like I don't know what to do. And the whole crowd turned against this girl.
That's not fair.
And it was,
in my opinion. Yeah.
and it was genuinely like a flub. Like she is like probably like 17, 19-year-old girl, and she was like, "Oh my God, like I just like said this." And like people have their video cameras out and everything, and it became like a whole controversy of like, should Kendrick have even invited a white girl up, knowing his song, knowing that this word is in there? Like, who is the blame on?
It's on Kendrick. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be that person. He gave her permission. He went as far to let her on the stage to sing a song, knowing that that word is in the song.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I
and
mean,
Kendrick is not a PG artist by any means.
God, I'm looking for my glasses.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think? What's your opinion on that, Tam? Like,
yeah,
on the Kendrick situation, or just on the thing in general?
On the Kendrick situation, on that in general. Ooh.
I do, as much as I do love Kendrick, I do think that the onus is at least not, if not entirely, more so on him, because you can't, not that you can't get mad at, but you can't be like it is entirely on her or on a white person or on whoever if you're gonna, and like different situation if you're white and you're hanging out with your black friends and then you just sing that song. But if you call a girl up on stage to rap with you or whatever, being like, you know, all the words and all that stuff, and like it doesn't look good on his part.
Right.
But then my opinions on just the thing in general is I am one of those people who is like, I think that the word needs to be depowered and declawed, and that words only have the intent that we give them. Like it is 100% true that there are a lot of black people who died and that was the last thing that they heard. But in all those cases, it's because someone was trying to say, I am trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to break your spirit. I am trying to reduce you as a human.
Right.
Whereas I am someone who am like, I feel comfortable saying the word. It's not that I go out and say every other word. And like, honestly, when my white friends hear me say it, a lot of times they're surprised, and it more so will come out around them when I'm drunk. But it is a word that I feel confident and comfortable in saying because I know that when I say it, I'm not trying to depower someone.
Wait a minute, I missed.
Do you feel that same way when a white person says that then? Because then they're into, like, what if they're saying, like, because if they're like, yo, Tamir, what's up, man? They've done that same thing that you've done to that word, so they're giving them permission to say that too, right? I mean,
and that's the thing why I feel conflicted about it, because like that is the logical extreme of like my viewpoint.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing, is that like it's me trying to have my cake and eat it too, and I don't think that that's fair, which is why I'm like 100% like, this is how I feel, and I'm not gonna chastise anyone for how they feel about it as long as they are not doing the negative part of what I'm saying.
So I just, because I missed it. So you prefer it or you don't?
I would prefer they didn't, because I understand it's problematic.
No, do you?
Do I use it?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't. Sorry, you missed a little bit of this, but I was saying that I feel like it is about the intent that you're saying it with.
Okay.
So if it's an ER, you don't approve. If it's an A, then you're
well.
Okay.
If you're saying it with an ER, then you're probably trying to do something else.
Yeah.
It's a hot button topic for a reason.
It is a hot button topic. No, I'll let you finish. Sorry.
That was that was
Oh.
that was what I had to say on it. I don't think that white people should say it.
You think they should?
I don't think they should. I don't think that it because here's the problem with them saying it is that the distinction is when I say it because it's a word that's in my vernacular, and when they say it, it's because they're around me and they're trying to be cool. Which in of itself is the whole idea of white people fetishizing black culture and black identity.
Right.
And I don't think that is okay.
But you're perpetuating that by using the word, and even if you use it around your white friends, you are, because it's and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not for doing that. But what I am saying is that when you, in a certain way, it's not fair. It's like carrying the carrot around in front of the donkey and never allowing him to eat it.
Mm.
It is in well, let me go back to the Kendrick Lamar thing. He invited her up there.
Yes, he was like at a concert, and he like, you know how musicians will pick someone out of the audience,
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
yeah. So he invited her up there, and he let us, and he knew that he thought she wasn't going to say it.
And he knew what?
Thought she wasn't going to say the word. No, that's not a question. I mean,
He was trying. I think that he was just like, I wasn't thinking that far ahead. Like, I'm in the moment, like I'm at my concert. I just called a random fan up. I wasn't thinking about that was going to be a thing.
But even if well, I don't like the use of the word. Let me preface it by saying that. But if she's saying it in the context of the song, she's not sitting there and pointing at all the black folks in the audience and calling them the N-word.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about context in that
Yeah.
thing. Now, so I don't think and like you said here, you know, she called him up. I mean, he called her up. So what did you think she was going to do? So it's nothing to be mad about.
Oh no, he wasn't mad, but people were mad at him for the situation.
Because they think it's fine. They think it's fine, and they use it to. And seeing that's. But I have strong feelings about it, and even my brothers and sisters know that I don't use the word. On rare cases, you will hear it slip out of my mouth if I get mad or something. But like you, my story is not, is not like yours. It's a little bit different in that I grew up with all my cousins, uncles, and everybody. They use the word.
Mm-hmm.
Mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, with family and stuff. But see, I never used it because, in my feeling is that, and thought is, it's kind of like your grandfather's. Is that, and I look at it from a historical point of view, that many of our people died and they did not want to be called this word. They really did not. And they would defy their master and would lose because of it. And I just don't, the use of it in pop culture, I can't get with it, even within music, because now what you've done is rap music. Everybody knew that rap music was bought by what? Primarily suburban white kids. And so what you're doing is you're desensitizing them. They're already not adults and don't know what the hell they're doing and going off the rails. And then you're indoctrinating them with this music and the use of the N-word. So if they come, and they want to be down
Yep.
and come up to you, Tamir, little young 14-year-old boy, he's like, yo, Tamir, my nigga. And so what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is where I feel like the intent behind it is 100% different. Like, you might mean it in that like friendly way, but again, it's fetishizing like
No,
my
and
culture and my people. And like,
no,
here's the thing, is I recognize that like my point of view has flaws in it.
Right.
And like, I'm not trying to say that it's perfect and it's definitely the way to be and everyone should be this way. I'm just saying that it's the way that I feel is the best way to do something about it, is to depower it. Because when you make a word a taboo word, then everyone just wants to do it more, and everyone just wants to say it more.
true. But I don't think
Or
there's
say it behind closed doors, and then they're really hard, and then the people are saying are really harboring those feelings.
Mm.
But I don't think there's a flaw in the way you feel about it. I think that you're exactly right. If that little 14-year-old kid did come up to you and say that, it's about context. And he's not saying it in the context of, you're my nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's context. Is, yo, you're my nigga.
Mm-hmm.
And but the problem is, you're right, it is about context. But the problem is that if he comes up and he says it to me, I'm slapping.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I feel as though if you are going to say it, you need to be ready to deal with the consequences of the reaction, depending on who you are, if you're going to say it.
But 14-year and 15, 16-year-old boys, 17, even 18, don't know enough to know, or, and they're not handing out in the liner notes with albums that when you use the word, you got to put an A on the end of it so that will understand that you're not, you know what I'm saying?
So
Right.
here's my problem with that, is that it's the same argument as like, when are you ready to have sex to me? No one is going to prep you for that. No one's going to get, what did you say? It's to me, it's the same argument of being like, this 14 or 15-year-old didn't understand the ramifications of having sex, and now his girlfriend is pregnant. If you're going to do something that is a big boy action, then you have to be ready to deal with the consequences of that action, even if you were not necessarily prepared for it.
Yeah, but still, kids do a lot of things, and you're right. 15-year-old goes and get another little 15-year-old pregnant. They're no more ready to have a child at all. They just screw lives up.
And that's the same thing as like, if a little 12-year-old middle school kid comes to me and says something like that, and I take like some type of like angry action towards them, or now I'm like, this is going to be a bigger situation than what you thought it was, I have the right to do that, I feel like, because he has given me that right at that point to hold him accountable for his actions. And that's all I want out of it, is if you're going to say it, be accountable for it. I know that I hold the accountability when I say it, and I feel like I am justified in saying it.
Wow.
Yeah, but you can't, with a 15-year-old, they're not, I'm sorry, I have to close the door. It's raining like cats and dogs. Their minds are not fully developed. It's the same thing, it's just a thing, they're not ready, and they don't get it. No more than they know that they're ready they want to have sex, but they don't, oh God. But they don't understand the full ramifications of that.
I guess that all goes back to education, because I know for me in high school and middle school, if we couldn't even read that word in To Kill a Mockingbird or to what's the other show called, Of Mice and Men, because we thought it was a bad word. But I think it's important to say in that, so you know the power in the word, and so you know what it actually means. And it all goes back to education. It really and it goes back to knowing what the root of that word is, what it means, who heard it, how these people called Emmett Till nigger before they beat the shit out of him and he drowned. How people called, whoever else nigger before they literally had their last words and they literally were suffocating to death before, And to me, I equate like people using the word nigga to each other to like black on black crime, to be honest with you. And that goes back to, if we can't respect each other as a black community, how the hell do we expect everyone else to respect us? We're continuing shooting each other in Chicago and shooting and not valuing each other's lives. And then we expect for other people to value us? No, until we get our shit together too. People ain't gonna look at us like they're gonna dehumanize us and look at us as something, as a prop or just something that is
to use that role at this time.
I think that there are a lot of conversations that people aren't ready to hear on both sides of the fence, and that is one of them.
Yep.
I think that
to another conversation.
I kind of give in because I know that it's not going to change a lot of people's, even though I feel the way that I do about it, it's not going to change because I've heard a lot of comedians, one that I adore, Whoopi Goldberg is one of my favorite comedians and I adore her. And we're on the opposite sides of that because she likes to use the word. And
she believes with Tamir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinks that you can take
and I'm like, okay, Whoopi, but and she'll get in front of you and go nigga, 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 nigga. I'm like, you stop, girl.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's sensitive to me because of the historical significance of it, and I can't. And I understand the argument. The word only has as much power as you give it.
Mm-hmm.
But that, in my opinion, the word was historically used to demean us as people. I don't need to have ownership of it. That's just like the Jews, taking ownership of kike and walk around going, hey, kike. No.
I think my whole thing is also in trying to take ownership of it is that know the time and the place. Like if you're just like Lawrence, if you're straight up like I don't like that word, I'm not gonna say it around you. Like I don't say that around like my mom or my grandma or like people who I respect. Why would I? If like they're gonna if they feel some type of way about it. Like that's just blatantly being disrespectful to me.
Right.
And I think that's another part of it.
Right. No, and I hear you. Because my siblings are the same way. They know that I can't stand it, and so they won't use it around me. Although they do slip and use it, and they go, "Oh my God, I'm sorry," because I know you don't like that word.
Yeah, like that's just common courtesy, I think.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and it is. It is. But it is even in our community even to talk with each other about it. It is a red button issue because there's so many different opinions on it. And I think that by and large I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at anybody who just choose to use it because You know, my dad stood up, grew up. I grew up hearing him using it, and the nigga come up in here.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, actually, now that I've thought about this, even Ken, like I said, Kendrick's one of my favorite musicians. He has a whole album, To Pimp a Butterfly, which is like, if you haven't listened to it, you really should listen to it. But at the second to last song on the album, he gives a whole little spoken word part where he talks about the origins of the N word. And it's just like, it comes from the word negus, which means emperor, king, ruler. It is a positive word. It was initially a positive word. And this is Kendrick's words, not mine. I haven't done my own research into it. But he said that, and again, I'm just quoting Kendrick, is that he said that the N word comes from the word negus, which is a word that was supposed to be uplifting.
Now, you know I'm going to go look this up, though.
Yeah, me too.
It comes from, what is the name of the song? It's the song I off of his album, the live version of the song I.
Okay.
And I don't know how valid or not that is, but I'm sure that the word has etymology somewhere and from something in African culture.
Probably does. It
So I
might.
don't use the word negus then.
Because it doesn't rhyme well.
I know.
You've got, it doesn't work.